Today we are going to see about exception handling. Okay, so what is exception handling and how to handle that exception if it arrives during our runtime of the program. Okay, let me make a file first. Let me say it as exception handling.py. Okay, so this is the name of the file. So let me go to the view appearance and zen mode. Okay, so let me start now coding. So what is exception handling? Okay, so if in our code any unexpected event happens, then we want to handle that kind of event. Okay, so in this case we will use what is known as exception handling. Okay, let me write the definition first. So exception handling. Okay, so in exception handling, what is an exception? It is the process of responding on expected event when the program is running. Okay, so this is known as exception handling. Okay, during the when our program is running, then there may be some problem that there may occur some problem, right? Unexpected event can occur. In this case, how to handle those unexpected case is basically dealt by this exceptional handling. Okay, so let me move on to the next one. So let me give you the syntax first. Okay, so let me show you the syntax that is used for exception handling. In exception handling, if you want to do exception handling, then what we need to do is we need to write first try, right, and write a bunch of code over here. So let me write a bunch of code over here. Okay, so let me say block of code, and you have on the statement known as except, and in except what you write is when the exception occurs, then this except block executes. Okay, so in except there is again the error of that code. Okay, so in our normal program, first this block of code is will try to run, and if any error occurs, then it will jump to this except block, and this block of code will run. Okay, so this is our code. So let me show you some example regarding this. Okay, so let me say I have a let me first of all make function that's saying so, and let me say a is equal to David, and I want to print that I want to print the David. Okay, so let me write as David, and in order to print that David, I should do, let me say I want to print the value that is present at the index 0, and I will call that function over here. Okay, so I am calling that function by providing so a. Okay, so I am passing the value so a. Okay, so if I do this thing, I will get an error. Okay, so I am passing an argument, but there is no place for accepting that argument. Okay, so it will show the error, but it will not run first of all. So what I need to do is to call that so function outside this function. So if I call this then name a is not defined. Okay, so I have not already explained here. I have not defined a outside of the code, so it is showing me an error. So we can do, so it is a name error. Okay, so we will discuss about different types of errors also. So now I'll just write try block. Under this I'll define my function and call that so. Okay, so in the next code I'll write accept and print, and I'll say some error occurred. Okay, so some error occurred. If this run fails to run, then this the code that is inside the accept will run, and this result will be printed in our console. Okay, so if I run this code, then it is showing me some error occurred. Okay, so here we are passing this argument over here, but it is not accepting that argument, so here is an error, and in that case this print some error has occurred is being printed in our console. So but if I make this correct, now what it will do is that it will run this piece of code. Okay, so it will show me a0 consists d, so it will print me only d. Okay, so this line of code will not run. Okay, anything that is inside this except block will not run if the try block runs successfully. Okay, so if this block of code runs successfully, then this block of code will not run. Okay, so this is the thing. So put in code. Okay, so we will now discuss about the types of error that can occur while running your program. Okay, so there are not while running. We will generalize the errors into these three groups. So let me say this error is classified into mainly errors are classified into three types. The first type is going to be our simple, right, syntax error. These kinds of error will occur if you don't write your code more seriously. That what I mean is that if I write a print and let's say hello old. Okay, so and if I don't give this parenthesis, then in this case the there is problem in our syntax. Okay, so it is expecting this closing parenthesis over here, but I have not given closing parenthesis, so this kind of error is known as syntax error. So syntax error occurs if you don't write your syntax or code properly. Okay, so that's the thing. And there is a next type of error which is known as runtime error. In runtime error there are different types of error. Okay, so the first one is index error, which the index error will occur when you try to access the index of that of let's say if I give a 9 over here, there is no 9 index in this a, so it will throw me the index error. Okay, so this will be the case of index error. And there is on the case of zero division error. Okay, so zero division error, and in this case you try to divide a variable by 0, in this type of problem will occur. And there is also known as a name error, which we have seen right now, right recently, right? So we have tried to pass that in so a, but there is no a defined. Okay, so name a is not defined. Okay, so there is also next type of error that is known as type error, which is generally occur if we try to, let's say we will this string 2 with the integer 2. If we try to add these two things, then this is integer and this is integer and this is a string, so it cannot add these two different data types, so it will show you the type error. Okay, so it will show you the type error. Okay, only can only concatenate string to string. So if you have given over here a string, so you need to provide at the right hand side of this plus also a string. Okay, so in this case there will be the type error. Okay, okay, let me show how to catch the specific type of error. Okay, so let me write that same piece of code, try, and let me show def so and if I do, let's say print, I'm doing the same thing that I have done just now. So I'm trying to add the two data types which are not same. Okay, so one is integer and another one is string data type, and I am trying to divide some number by 0. This will give me 0 division error, and I'm trying to access the index which is not present in that string, so this will give me the index error. Now if I call this so, then it will call that so and it will run this code. Okay, now I need if I have the try block, I also need to have except block. Okay, except, first of all I'll give you type error. Okay, if there occurs type error in this try block, then go to this block of code and just print your value should be in same data type. Okay, so this is the case, and if there in the try block there occurs zero division error, so it will go to this zero division error, and let's say print you can divide value by 0. Okay, so let me run this code first and show you whether this is running or not. At first this this function so will be called, so at the first line there will be error. Okay, so it will not execute further lines of code over here. So here is an type error that's occurred over here, so it will move to the except block that contains that kind of type error, so it will print your value should be in same data type. Okay, so let me show you, so it is showing me your values should be in the same data type. Okay, so if I comment this one, then this line of code will run first. Okay, so it is now we will encounter with zero division error. So in order to handle that zero division error, we will write except and that error and the block of code relating to that error. Okay, so you cannot divide value by 0 0. Okay, so in these two types of case we will write their specific error. Okay, so for catching any errors that's outside of these two error, we'll just say print some error occurred. Okay, so I'm writing some error occurred. Now if I comment this also, then normally this is index error, but we have not made a special except block for that index error, so it will come up to this except and run this some error occurred. Okay, so it will just show me Susan 9, that's wrong. I need to just write this thing, so I can write Susan as this, and I am accessing the ninth index of this string. Okay, we can also do the indexing like this. So if I do this run, then some error occurred. Okay, so it is trying to access the index which is not present over there. So this block of code will run, that will say some error occurred. Okay, so this is a runtime error because we will run the code first, then only we can catch where is the error. Okay, so syntax error will be cached by our IDE, that is it will generally show me if I write print and do not give parenthesis, then it will catch at while writing the code, it will catch the error. Okay, so it is catching the error, but in the case of runtime we need to run that code and some error will be printed in your console. Okay, so this is the case of this runtime error, and we'll move on to the next one. Next one is logical error. Logical error occurs if there is only if there is any logical problem in your code. Okay, so let me show you an simple example. Logical error, I will the write the simple function that is so a comma b, and if I print a into b, I'm writing a into b, and I'm calling that as so 2 comma 4. Okay, so over here what we are doing is that in my mind, let's say I am going to add these two numbers which I have passed through that, so but mistakenly I have written here multiple signs, so I am expecting 6 to be printed in my console, but it is printing 8. Okay, so it will show me this code will not give you any error, but the result that you have expected to come will not come. Okay, so that's I am getting 8 over here, so I now I will I'll look at my code because I did not get my expected result. I'll go into the code and see where I have done it wrong. Okay, so now I will do debugging of this code. Okay, so I have passed 2 to this a, and b in b I have passed 4. So in order I should do here plus, but I did over here multiplication. So if I correct this one, then I will get my answer correct, that is 6. Now this kinds of problem is known as logical error. This will not print the error in your console, but you need to go through your code and make any adjustment in your code. You should make the adjustment in your code in order to get your desired result. This kind of error is known as a logical error. So these are the 3 types of error that can occur in your code. So there is a last problem, that's there is also known as finally. So finally is something that will be always execute. Okay, so this is always execute, this is always executed. Okay, final block will always execute it. Let me say that try, let's say I will do the exception handling. For that I need to write my code in this try block. So try, and I'll make the show function that will not take anything. Okay. Now if I, let's say a is equal to David, and print a as, let's say I'm trying to access the 90. Okay, so it will show me the what is known as index error. So I'll not make the in separate except block for index error, but I'll make the general block. Okay, so let me run that show also over here. So let me go to the except as a general except block. So this is a general except block, and inside this, let's say some error code is here. Okay, so here is some of the error code, and let me do the simple case first and then come to, and if I do print some important code is here. Okay, so if I run this program, what will happen is the first this show will be executed because it is called from here. Okay, this will execute show and a equal to David, it's okay. So, and over here there will occur the index error. Okay, so if the any error occurs in this piece of code, then it will move to the except block. Some code is here will run, and this will also print some important code is here. Okay, so if I run this, some important code is here and important some error code is here and some important code is here. Okay, so but what I want to do is I want to use the finally block. Okay, so for finally block I will now again try to comment this line of code. I'll move to the down below, and let's say define so in this I'll write try block. Let me try to add the two different data types. It will show me the type error. It will move, this code will move to the except block, and in except block let's say some error code is here. Okay, and in this case we will return 1. Okay, so as we know that if anything that is written below this try below the written will not be run. Okay, so if you have written any code below that written statement or written line of code, right below this, the anything below will not run. Okay, so this is the simple thing which we have seen in the function, and I will write over here finally that will print finally block of code. So this will print me some important code is here. Okay, so if I am writing my function like this, then what I need to call that function in order to run that. So if I call this function, first of all it will go to the try block. Okay, so there is an error in my try block, then it will move to this except block. Okay, some error code is here. Okay, so some error code is here will be printed, and it will return 1, but before returning that 1 it will move to this finally block, and some important code is here will be printed, and this function will end. Okay, so if I run this code, so over here some error code is here and some important code is here. Okay, so what you need to be careful in this case is that if I write my, let's say, main as in program, and let's say I am doing print this is a main function. Okay, so if I am writing as this is a main function, and if I saying return, let's say return 1, and if I am saying print this is outside the, this is below the return statement. Okay, this is below the written statement. Okay, so if I run the, if I call this main function, what it will do is it will just print me this is a main function, because it will not run any lines of code below it. Okay, so it will not run any lines of code that is below it. Okay, so it is showing me some error over here. So this is the main function is being printed, but it is not running this below the written statement, because it is the interpreter will not run anything that is written below this written statement. Okay, so that was the case. But over here what you need to remember is that first of all it will go to this try, and after any error has occurred it will move to this except block, and before returning this one, what it will do is that it will move to this finally block, run the bunch of code, block of code that is present in this finally block, and then return this one. Okay, so you need to you need to know that and this thing. Okay, so whether this except block will run or not, this finally block will always run. Okay, so if I just do 2 plus 2, then this block of code has run successfully. Now the except block will not run over here, and it will always run this finally block of code. Okay, so this will print me 4, and some important code is here will be printed. Okay, so 4 and some important code is here has been printed. So I hope you understood this concept of exception handling in Python. So in next video we'll discuss about the import module. Okay, how to make our own module, and how to import and the module the from the Python inbuilt function, or how to make our own module. Okay, we'll discuss that in next video. So have a nice day and cheers.